Of course, the bird clock is going off. What a way to start the show. Ever get sort of roped into going to one of those after work meetups, like after work restaurant trips type thing? Hmm, let's talk about it. Am I thinking like a frugal person or am I thinking like a stingy person? Let's talk about this and I'll be back in a minute. Good morning, good morning, good Monday morning to you. Hi, this is Jan from New York City, and I truly love helping people to keep some more of their own hard earned money. Could that be you? And never forget the three words hard earned money. Puts a little bit of a different perspective on things when you realize how hard you worked for your money. Even if you worked smart for it, you still worked for it. Remember that. That's why it's a valuable tool, an exchange of services. Let's jump right into the difference between, in my opinion, frugal and stingy, but we'll get into that later. Today, I'm more concerned about how and what is your take on the matter. Let's have a pretend scenario. You're at a job, you work there for X number of years, and then inevitably it comes up, somebody comes up with the brainstorm, hey, let's go out to dinner after work. Or let's go out to drinks after work. Okay. I don't know. Sometimes I don't mind being in a festive mood. This is years ago. Sometimes I really do mind because I'm like, first of all, not in the mood, and not in the mood for something else. Now, this happened in real time years and years ago. I was at a different job. This was back in the 80s, and they don't want to mention a job, but let's just say that I was there for X number of years, and I was really surprised at the behavior of some of the people. Oh, let's go to one of those after work type things. Okay, it was so disorganized. It was a last minute thing, and people were sitting there trying to figure out who's taking care of the bill. Okay, is this one of those everybody chips in for the bill or every person for themselves? Honestly, I prefer the any person for themselves, and especially after that particular situation. There were people there, oh, we could split the bill amongst ourselves. I said, I smell a red flag here. So I said, let me just watch how this plays out. And of course, I was right. There were people who didn't care. They ordered the highest end stuff and the highest end drinks. And then there are the people who, were, trying to be polite and ordered the lower end stuff and whatever. Let me ask you a question. Tell me if I'm wrong to feel this way. Is it a stingy way of thinking or is it a frugal way of thinking or just a fair way of thinking? If some people on this let's chip in for everything, order the highest end stuff, would I be wrong to presume that they're kind of putting the burden on the other person who still ordered the smaller scale stuff? Yeah, I personally think that that's a yeah. Honestly, I would be the every person for themselves pay their own way if we're going to do this, like these so-called spontaneous things. And then, of course, there's the high tip involved. You have to really want to do it, and nobody's saying you have to do it at all. Maybe in my earlier years, I might have been a little too, oh, I don't want to upset the apple cart person. But as I got older, I recognized and, of course, realized more the value of my hard earned money. And do I really have to, feel this way to, like some people ordering porterhouse steaks and somebody else is ordering the cheapest possible item on the menu because maybe they just are having difficult times and they're just being using fair play, which I think is really the basis for this. Is that a stingy way of thinking or is that a smart way of thinking? What do you do in cases like that? I am curious to know how many people have ever gotten stuck in one of those situations and you like live to like say, I will never do that again. Honestly, it was a good reference point. I was in my middle late 20s at that time, And I was really like, trying to make ends meet, like really hard to make ends meet. But then, you don't want to look like the person that always says no to everything type thing. But as I got older, let's say somebody would bring the same question up 10 years later, I would say, no, thank you. I had no problem. It is absolutely, completely amazing to me that as time goes by, how even just a matter of a couple of years or experience, because experience is really the best teacher in life. A person could rattle on, talk and talk all they want. They could draw pictures on a board. They could type up graphics. You know what I'm saying with presentation. But to be honest with you, experience is the best teacher. And you know what really bothered me personally the most? On that scenario back in the day, that really was a good lesson learned. I'm telling you, it was just a good lesson learned. The attitude of some of those people that were there, they was like, just like, I don't know, like kind of like rude about it. And it just wasn't even a fun experience. It was like a complete waste of time. So I have learned, a few years later, even maybe immediately on that day, I learned it, but I implemented it when the question came up again. Okay. That future question was like, it was the simplest no-brainer answer that I could have given the second time around. No, thank you. No, thank you. A lot of people, again, I'm going to reiterate this, 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. It is way more important to have your essentials paid for without blinking an eyelash, always have enough money for food, enough money to put away for savings, and to keep going in a normal manner. This is where it is so important to always, 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 always exercise the brain using the distinction between a want and a need. Now, at that time, when I first said yes, again, mid late 20s, I wanted to like be part of the thing. I was hoping that it would be better, but I had a suspicion it wasn't going to go that way, which was pretty instinctive of me even back then. But then to having gone through it, and even the people that look, we like looked at each other, the ones that ordered like the smaller portion thing or the, cheapest thing on the menu, we like looked at each other like, really? While the other ones, making merry, and it just wasn't fair. I know it sounds like I'm making a big to do about not much, but actually, that was a good lesson learned. It was a good lesson learned for my future. Like I said, on the future so called invitation, no, thank you. And I went home and I went on my merry way. No is a tough word to use when you're not used to using it. But sometimes in life, you have to use the word no. I'm just pointing this out. Was that a frugal or a stingy way of thinking when I felt that it just was an unfair practice? Having to presume that everybody should pay the bill, even though they're ordering the lesser of the meal, the cheapest of drinks, while the other people are ordering porterhouse steaks. You know where I'm going with that? Just to me, it rung out as unfair. Have you ever been in a situation like that? What is your take on the matter? Let me know. Let us know in the comment section below. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate everybody's time. Don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe to this channel.